Good day and welcome to the Sport Rep Show. I'm your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, unpacking the latest sports news within and beyond Namibian borders. And now for your latest on the hit list. Former Blackburn Rovers and Wigan Athletics defender Ranyambe was unable to find a club during the transfer window. The player remains a free agent with little interest from European clubs reported. The Brave Warriors international is said to have won enough duels as a defender last year and is still likely to play for his former club if any interest arises. A Football League World report suggested that Nyambe's former club could bargain from regaining the defender on a free deal. There are, however, suggestions that the club may not be interested in the player after he left for Wigan, who got relegated from the League One Championship. The defender has meanwhile been named in Namibia's provisional squad set to play South Africa in a friendly match on 9 September. Brave Warriors coach Colin Benjamin believes the player's ability and despite his lack of game time on the club level. As Namibia tightened their laces for the 2023 Rugby World Cup, they face a challenging task in Pool A. The Welwitschias of Namibia were the underdogs in this pool, but despite being given slim chances by bookmakers, the team will be determined to showcase their progress against the strongest teams in the world. Namibia, who has an impressive record of qualifying for the World Cup 7 times consecutively, will face Italy at 1300 hours on Saturday in Saint Etienne. Their other Pool A fixtures are against New Zealand on 15 September at 9 o'clock, host France on 21 September at 9 o'clock, and Uruguay on 27 September at 17:55. Italy enters the tournament in 13th place in the World Rugby rankings, New Zealand 4th, Uruguay 17th and France 3rd, whereas Namibia is currently ranked 21st, which is the second lowest of any team in the tournament, only ahead of Chile, who the Namibians beat 28-26 in Valparaiso last month. History suggests the Italian rugby pedigree should carry them through once again. While the odds may be heavily against Namibia, the underdogs will be highly motivated to prove themselves on the global stage. While we speak about rugby here is something that you would enjoy. It is competition time.
Die 8de September is om die draai, mense. Het julle al julle se Welwitschias stryd? Het julle se Namibia rugby stryd? Nog nie. En dan het jy al Namibia stryd?
Ek het reeds vroeër met Johan gesels en gesê nee, ek het nou 'n bietjie dinge in die kantoor wat ek nou wil hê. Ons almal moet bietjie opbeer en die hele vibe kry. So ons is besig om te kyk dat ons almal so 'n bietjie Namibiese treye kry.
So sien julle Momentum is agter, NMH is agter en hulle se hele klomp companies daar binne. Food Lovers is agter. Hoe julle kan 'n trey kry is #nameboys na 085 785 6231 en sê tog vir Brian die rede hoekom ek julle se gunsteling aanbieder is omdat ek daai nommer ken en ek gee vir julle die lekker goed, lekker kos, lekker geselskap, lekker kompetisies.
There you have it, you have a chance to win. By invitation, Namibia's tougher Lager Brave Warriors played a friendly football match against Zimbabwe at the inauguration of President Emmerson Mnangagwa in Harare yesterday. Namibia were behind 2-1 at halftime after strikes by Mklosi Ntebe and Farai Mbanda for the home side. The full-time whistle blew at 2-2 after the Namibians had scored goals through Eliakim Jackson and Edmund Kambanda. Zimbabwe then won 5-4 on penalties. The Namibian squad has been preparing for their upcoming friendly clash against South Africa's Bafana Bafana on 9 September. The Zimbabwe Football Association, after enduring an 18-month-long ban by the football governing body has finally emerged from the shadows when the suspension was lifted on 11th July 2023, allowing the country to once again participate in international football. Here is what Coach Colin Benjamin had to say.
Yeah, I think we started really the way you don't want to start. 2 minutes after kickoff, we trailing 1-0. We lose the ball in the build-up. Young player Tuli loses the ball, and obviously at that level you're going to get punished. But I think we showed resilience, we showed character by coming back with Jamba as a debutant scoring that goal 1-1. And then just after that, I think that's something we'd also have to work on, where we basically kind of relax, or 3-4 of them give 10% less, and then if you have 3-4 giving 10% less, you have 30% less. And that's how the opponents could also go into the lead with a 2-1 in the halftime. But luckily through the halftime we could regroup. Tactically we have a few changes that we did within that group. We could work better against the ball. We closed the Zimbabweans down, and we, out of that organization and structure, we could pin them basically in their half, and we created a few good chances. The one notable one 10 minutes before time, where Uda Kambanda basically was alone. He normally has to do it, normally will do it in his sleep, and we passed that one. Then went to the penalties, and I think that's always gamble. So that's some of the experience that we have to take from that game. But all in all, I think what we did the second half was really giving appetite, and I think that was character, that was resilience, and for this Chan group, definitely impressions that we took from that match.
Anything else that you'd like to add?
I think now with the whole team coming together against tomorrow in the field against South Africa, we had these few guys, debutants, that made a good mark on themselves. Levy coming through with Turu Kambato, delivering good crosses. So these boys, those are the lights on this game, and they rewarded by going with the team now, with the full international team, to South Africa on this weekend. We're looking forward to having Peter Shitembi back. We're looking forward to have Dion Hotto back. They just scored over the weekend. And we've got some of our guys that's playing in continental cups in Africa that's going to be part of the team. And Saturday at the Orlando Stadium, we're going to have our full team, and we're just looking forward to this game. There's always something against South Africa, Namibia, and prestige. We want to upset the big brother. We're going to be aggressive. We're hungry. It's these young boys that is playing with some of their peers there in South Africa, and we are delighted that we're going to have a game of this magnitude, with South Africa bringing in their strongest possible squad, and this is really, really good stuff. And we're going to give our most on that field, and we're definitely looking forward to this.
The fight at Krugertop's Football Club continues, with some of the supporters still unhappy even after the elections took place and with a leadership in place. The members and supporters still demand a general meeting. The letter through their lawyer Bernard Chashara issued to the new executive committee demands a general meeting after 7 working days. We will now visit the marketplace before we bring you golden oldies. Stay tuned. Today we speak to Administrator Chalo Chainda, a legend in sport administration and someone who has played some sport during school days. It is no coincidence that Chainda is now fully in the sport administration business. Here is what he had to say. Mr. Chainda, welcome to the Sport Rep Show. As a golden oldies program, we always do it mostly outside, but today we felt the need of bringing you in. I'm sure it's a different scenario from an ordinary press conference where you sit and have to discuss. We're discussing about Chalo Tainda, a man who has been in the sport administration for a while now. But first, one of the things that I wanted to find out was, were you a footballer or any sport person before you actually joined the trade?
First of all, thank you, Jesse, for having me here. I'm really honored. Indeed, I played football just like any other child growing in the village. As you grow up, this is the first game that we're exposed to. So I really played football. I played in front. I played for my village team in the village, of course. Then also looking forward to play for your own, area team, which was Welwitschias, actually hailing from Makanga village. So football is part of the
process of
when
you were growing up.
When you were growing up.
All right. Attending school, high school, did you continue playing?
Unfortunately, after high school, yes, I did play. I moved from my own village, which is about 5 kilos, for the secondary school. I was then at Sikosinyana Secondary School, that is in the Zambezi region. I hail originally from Makanga village. Sikosinyana or Sibinda is about 5 kilometers from Makanga. So it's part of our setup. And that's where we have the high school, the matric. So I did my matric in '96 at that school, and 1994 rather. And I continued playing football. After that, then after graduating, came to UNAM. Unfortunately, couldn't get the bursaries at then. That was '95. So I landed a job into the bank as a bank, first-hand person who's into credit sales at Agribank. That's why I started my career. Unfortunately, I could not continue with my football career. The job at the bank was demanding. You have to travel quite often to go into the areas, and it was in Rundu. So yes, but the love for the game of football and sport continued as well, remained as part of the passion that drives me.
All right. Since it's a sports program, and one of the things that we want to know is that you joining the sports commission, what prompted you to join the sports commission at the time?
I must confess, originally when I came to the commission, I had quit my job at the bank, pursuing further studies with my bachelor's in marketing. And that time, coming back, have to bounce back, and the job market was getting difficult. So I landed myself that marketing job at the Sports Commission, starting my first part of the marketing. Although I was in credit and sales at my former employer, then Agribank, I continued with marketing, now getting into the understanding of the corporate world in terms of marketing, public relations, stakeholder engagement, and all those things. Yeah, so when I got into the Sports Commission first, I wasn't really driven to be working in the industry, but as time came on, I really developed the passion.
Which was wonderful.
Yes.
Yes. Moving into a sports sector here from a banking sector in a country like Namibia, I'm sure there's always a lot of changes involved. But as a person that played football before at a young age, I'm sure that you were familiar with sports actually. So what did you make of sports at that time in this country, and are you getting into the operations and making sure that, look, we have to market this place and make sure that it really drives, or you drive it to success with your co-colleagues?
Yes, thank you, Jesse. I must say honestly, what prompted and drove that passion, the people that I found there were able to mentor me in a proper way. And I must always give credit to the man himself, Mr. Rasten Mohane, who was then the chief administrator, the first chief administrator of the Sports Commission, who happened to be a coach. So coming into the Sports Commission, I realized I admired this man who has been a national coach already. So looking up to him being our leader then in the Sports Commission, he gave me an assignment to say, the first assignment you are going to do is to make sure that we have, we bring back the Sports Awards. By then, the Sports Awards was the first project given to me. It was almost dormant. You could find that people were receiving the highest amount that the people were winning. It was, I think, $15,000 for the sportsman of the year, and $5,000 for the junior sportsman. Other categories were not even getting anything at that stage. So I'm really emphasizing that it's not always about the money.
Yeah.
It's about how you grow yourself and understand the work and get to love and driven by the passion.
Passion.
So I fell in love with that part of saying I'm plowing back to the people, getting something to make another person happy. That drove me, and I realized, man, maybe I think this is something that is passionate. Naturally, I'm a philanthropist from where I come from, being a boy who grew up in the village. I'm literally a village boy.
Yeah.
So in the village setup, you are everybody's child. And you are also looking at other people and assisting each other. So that drove my passion and ignited that whole feeling. And then we started approaching some of the corporates who, I think MTC came on board, Nam Power, the Namibia breweries came on board, and we started that project.
Wonderful stuff. Starting that project, it has been years on now. Comparing to when you came into this industry and where it is now, what would you say are some of the biggest things that have actually transformed in sports in this country?
I think we have moved, and at least from where we were. If you look at some of the projects in sport and even the investment that have come through from corporate Namibia, from the Ministry of Sport itself, I think we have moved. Yes, there's still a long way to go, but I think there's a different part whereby we are, even if we leave sport today, I'll be proud to say I've made my part, I've played my my part. We are able to say we have given to the Namibian athlete, to the Namibian sports admin, we have left something for them to say they can carry on from there. I think it's something that I'm very proud of myself on that one. And I must emphasize, it's not always about the money.
Yes.
It's about making that difference in another person's life. I've mentioned that when we started, it was the prize money was up to $10,000. As we speak today, the highest amount is $200K for the Sports Star of the Year, with the least amount $30,000. So it's something to be proud of. We can still build on that. I think if we compare ourselves to our counterparts in South Africa, they are doing quite very well. But in the region as we speak, Namibia Sport, and you can make your research, Namibia Sports Awards and some of the projects that Namibia have, is more competitive. You can't compare it to other regions.
That is wonderful. Well, Chalo, before we conclude this one, you started off, like as you mentioned, they working in the banks and all that. What would your word of encouragement be for someone young out there, especially who would love to do something for themselves and they feel like they should go get this career?
Get yourself as a young person. Find yourself a purpose to do. Why am I living? It's not always about how much I'll get into that career. And that's what causes most young people and some people to get into doing wrong things. They end up getting into corrupt activities. They end up doing wrong things such that they will end up stealing money within their employers, from their employers. It's not about getting quick money. It's about leaving a legacy and building yourself. You are a brand as you stand as a person. So as a young person, when you go to your workplace, respect your colleagues, work with others, because we can only build each other. And in an institution, it's not about who I am. It's we as an organization, you are a team. So look at your colleagues, co-colleagues. There will be differences every day, but try to build as a person. Make sure that when you leave this workplace, your colleagues appreciate you. There's always that saying that people don't appreciate you until you are gone into the grave. But believe you me, the colleagues will miss you the day when you leave and you are going to another employer. They will even want to stay, hey, if he was here. That's the person that you want to be. So that when you leave, you have left a mark, you have made a difference in people's life. And the people that you serve, you take yourself as a civil servant. Serve the people to the best of your ability. Keep that smile. Make sure that whoever comes into your office, don't allow them to go back without a smile. They must know that even if it was, let me say, 1:05 and you are about to go for lunch, even if you have to explain to say, please, the person who is supposed to assist you has gone already. You can come back at 2:30 also. That is what the person that we need to be.
Wonderful stuff there from our golden oldies today. That is Chalo Chainda, A very, very well-vested man, as you can see, with a lot of wisdom there. I hope wherever you find yourself have taken these words. Thank you so much, Chalo, for coming.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm honored.
Welcome to Le Rugby Joel. Namibia yesterday welcomed hilarious Kisting to the team base camp in Aix-les-Bains, France. Kisting's inclusion to the 33-man squad comes after Chade Plato suffered an unfortunate grade 2 to 3 hamstring tear during the Voltecom Bulls match in Windhoek a few days prior to the team's departure. Ariochart is up next with international news.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news first. The US Open continues its week 2, and it is getting closer to the quarterfinals for the men and the women at Flushing Meadows in New York. News from the men's side, the number 3 seed Daniel Medvedev, he's safely through. He beat Alex de Minaur of Australia, and that was 2-6, 6-4, 6-1 and 6-2 to advance to the quarterfinals. A good win for number 12 seed, that is Alexander Zverev of Germany, and he beat Yannick Sinner, and he beat him in 5 sets, and that is a high seed that is out in the tournament, and it is Alexander Zverev will now play number 1 seed Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinals. Tough game for Alexander Zverev, and it is Carlos Alcaraz of Spain that's number 1 seed in this tournament. In the women's side of the draw, it is South Africa or African hopes that unfortunately lost. It is Ons Shabir of Tunisia. She's out. She lost in the round of 16, and she lost to China's Qinwen Cheng 6-2 and 6-4. So she's out of the tournament. A very comfortable win for number 17 seed Madison Keys. She played against a countrywoman from America, that is Jessica Pegula, and she beat her 6-1 and 6-3. And it was a surprise how big the win was. And it is a number 6 seed Coco Gauff. She's next to play. She'll play in the quarterfinals. She plays against Yelena Ostapenko. She's number 20 seed. That's significant because it is Ostapenko that beat Iga Swiatek, the number 1 seed. So Coco Gauff, she's got the hopes of the USA now on her shoulders in the women's side of the draw. Moving on to soccer news, and it is news from Brazil, is that the Brazilian national team, they dropped their winger. His name is Anthony. He currently plays for Manchester United. He's a new signing for them, and he's 23 years old. And they dropped him because of abuse allegation by his former girlfriend, and it's currently being investigated by the police of Sao Paulo. So Brazil said that they're going to drop him. It will be interesting to see what Manchester United will do in this case. Also, 2 players from England had to withdraw because of injuries. It is Jack Grealish and also Trent Alexander-Arnold. They both withdrew of the England squad. From the England squad, they play Ukraine and Scotland. That is in friendly games. And it was Grealish that was injured in the last game for Manchester City against Fulham. And it's also Trent Alexander-Arnold that went off with a hamstring injury for Liverpool in the last game. And also more soccer news, it is Manchester United defender Eric Bailly that decided he will leave Manchester United. He's going to play in the Turkish league. He's going to play for Besiktas. And concluding today's international sports news, it is golf news. It's the much anticipated Ryder Cup that's going to start in 3 weeks' time. It's going to start on the 29th of September in Rome. That's a team competition, the best of Europe in the pro golf playing against the best of the United States. 12 members on each side, and the last one that was played, it was the USA that won in the United States. This time it's being played in Rome. Big news is that the captain of the Europe team, Luke Donald, he announced his team, and there were 6 players that was wild card picks, as they call him. It was the decision of Luke Donald to pick them, and one surprise was Ludwig Aberg. He is from Sweden. He is 23 years old, his first year as a pro, and he won this last weekend. He won the European Masters in Switzerland, so he is in the team. He joins Tommy Fleetwood, also Sepp Straka, and the experienced Justin Rose that was picked by Luke Donald, also the experienced Shane Lowry and Nikolai Højgaard. Already automatically in the team, because of previous performances, was a very experienced Rory McIlroy, also John Rahm and Victor Hovland. That will be the backbone of the European team. And also in the team is Tyrrell Hatton, Matthew Fitzpatrick and Robert McIntyre. That's the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Ari. With the Rugby World Cup looming, please do not forget to stay on the alert as Sport Rep will keep bringing you the latest results and more. From me, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, it is goodbye.